Tom Vasel's top 100 games of all time. Some say that Tom is like a giant among men. Others say he's a little obsessed.
I don't even have a top 10.
Tom Vasel's top 100 games of all time.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Z Garcia. What is happening?
Sam Healy, hello.
Oh, and we're doing my top 100 games of all time. Now, when I make this, I take all the games and I write them on little cards and make a big pile of cards. I think I had like 130 cards of games that were in the collection. Then I picked one that I figured was maybe in the middle. I'm not sure. And then I took every other game and said, is it better or worse than that game? So then I had a pile of cards, one card, and then the second pile of cards.
Okay.
Then I took that second pile of cards, took one out of there, and keep doing that. So I got to like the top 15. Then the top 15, I just put them all out and said, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 15. Boom. And went that way.
Skip 10 through 14?
I said it so fast you didn't hear it. Slow the video down.
Okay.
All right. So this time we're doing my second 10. Hopefully I'll get somewhat less grief. I'm not going to. Here we go. Number 90 was on my list for many years, then dropped off for the past, the past 2 years. It was not in my top 100, but back to number 90, and that is Manhattan. It's a simple game. I'm starting
the old Manhattan.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to have this resurgence. I'm starting to play some of these older Euro games that came out in this time frame, and sometimes you're like, wow, they're just simple. You know?
Yes. I know exactly what you mean. That is the one thing that I think Euros have lost a little bit, is the ability to be simple.
Well, no, I still think there's some that come out. For example, Splendor and things like that.
That's one of like the few exceptions.
But, well, I don't know that it's an exception. It's that I think the same amount are coming out now that they always were, just they're being obscured by so many other ones.
Okay. Okay, that could be.
But anyway, Manhattan, I like the visual effect. We just played New York 1901, which is a nice thing, but that didn't make my list because I still like the three-dimensional aspect of Manhattan. Right, I like to see it. Yes, building the tallest tower in this game gives you a measly 3 points, but it still feels good when you're like, yeah, I built the tallest skyscraper. And so I like it. I'm surprised this is actually out of print at this point in time, but I would be very surprised if in the next 5 years it's not in print by somebody.
Right.
Especially since the designer Andrew Seifert he has a lot of clout with his name. I think we'll come back. I'm not getting any hate on this one. Number 89, which has been on my list now for 4 years, and that is Mission Red Planet. In fact,
garbage.
Horrible game.
yes, the reprint of it is just really well done. And this would have made my list had it not been reprinted anyway. But the reprint just added it. I like the Phobos moon. The pieces are outstanding. Even though you were a big fan of the original art, I like the new art way better.
Okay, okay. Now, do you think it's higher on your list than it would have been without a reprint? Or lower?
I don't know. Maybe not, because even though I like the new stuff a lot, it wasn't like I'm like, oh, I actually like this game more than I thought. No, I still like it. I was just like, oh, these are really cool additions. Okay. The components, maybe, no, I don't know. Like last year it was 88, now it's 89, which is actually pretty much the same since new games push everything down.
And again, as you have said before, you don't look at the old list when you make the new list.
No, I don't. So I always feel pretty good when that happens.
So when that happens, it really just means that new addition simply makes it available. It doesn't necessarily change your mind.
And that's one thing I do like, the fact that I can talk about this game now, and you guys can actually go buy it.
Yep.
So that's good. Really, go buy it. Number 88 is a game that was not on my list ever before, but it's not a new game to this year. In fact, it came out, I think, 3 years ago. But I don't know, I just really like it, and that's Escape.
Really?
Yeah, I just like rolling dice quickly. I love the whole escape.
That's interesting, though, that it took 3 years for it to even hit the top 10 list. Why?
I don't know, because I made my list without looking at previous lists.
So, okay, right.
So it wasn't like I looked at the previous list.
Seems strange, because it's not a slow burn game. It's an obvious design, as in the first time you play is the same experience you'll probably have the 10th time you play.
Okay, but over the past year, I played Escape, the Zombie City one.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, well, that was okay, that was fine. But what about the original Escape? Then I played that again. I was like, oh man, I really do like this game. And maybe that was it, a resurgence of playing it.
This is one of the only timed dice rolling games that I enjoy.
You do enjoy it.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that this is one of those games that's on my list of, it's hard to get this one played. Because you would think this would be a great family game, but my kids are always like, oh, we're so stressed, Dad. Because the guys in the background going,
Because it gets you like...
escape, and it's boom, 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 boom.
It's all jittery. So there you go. If you want to get your game on Top's Top 100, make it. Then wait a couple years, make a worse version, and the first version will slip onto this Top 100.
Wow.
We'll see. This next game has been on my list probably for 10 years now, and that is Domain. Now, this is one that you have not
I
played
have
yet.
not played Domain, no.
Domain is just, it's, again, this fits in that Euro games with just extremely simple rules. In this game, you are trying to expand and make your kingdoms bigger on the board, and you do so by either playing a card and doing the action on that card, or getting rid of a card and taking the money, because whenever you play a card, you have to pay the money to play that card.
Okay.
But when you get rid of a card, you would then make that card available for other people to then buy themselves.
Right.
Very simple mechanisms, but very in your face. I mean, this game is not nice at all. It's hard to imagine that this game is designed by Toyber, and I think it's better than Catan, which, spoiler alert, is not on my list in any shape or form.
What?
Sorry.
Not even Catan, Germany? A single tear rolling down Sam's face.
No, I'm okay.
But anyway, Domain is a great game, and is another one that's out of print, unfortunately. Although you probably can find it at some Mayfair booth for $5 or something. But if you do see it, get it. The components are really good too. Domain. This is one of my personal ones. This is another one been on the list for probably 10 years, and I'm always trying to bring this one out, and these guys will grudgingly play it. You don't hate it, but it's my thing. When we have 6 players, I'm like, hey, let's play Ave Caesar. And I'm always like, sure, hey, and then these guys are like, all right, fine, we'll play it.
You love it. You.
And I do, although someone mentioned the modification we'll play next. Or I read one of the variants that I'm going to definitely be playing from now on, where if you have a 1 and someone's in front of you, you can switch with them. But only on playing a number 1.
That's nice.
And that will change some of the,
I like that.
sit in front of somebody, but you're taking a chance that they will then reverse the
I
round.
like that a lot. Yeah, we got to try that again
Choke
now.
points and stuff like that. Choke points and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did you block me? Well,
Guess what? Now I'm blocking you. Yeah, that's
right.
cool. That's cool. I like that.
so, but this is a racing game again. I'm starting to sound like this is a Z Garcia list, out of print. But I like the aspect of the racing and the fact that it fits 6 players and it's really fast.
Yeah.
Just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
It's over. There's the silly throw the coin thing, which is a Vasel thing I like in the game. So, Ave Caesar. This one's been on my list since it came out, except last year it wasn't on my list. The year before that was 98. Now it's up to 85.
Okay.
But that should make you happy that it's on my list again, because I know you like this one, and it's Dice Town. And
Good.
I don't know why it wasn't on my list last year. Maybe just missed it. I mean, it's waffling in the top, but there's something about chucking dice. And this game lets you throw dice on the table with a cup, like 50 times.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, I'll keep these 2 and re-roll that. And you get little
Very
poker
loud
hands.
game, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Liar's Dice loud. You're like, everyone's throwing stuff on the table.
But better
I'm going to say
than
I like
Liar's
it.
Dice.
Oh, better than Liar's Dice. Yeah, well, Liar's Dice I like. It's not my top 100. But I like this one. Was Liar's Dice in your top 100?
Probably. It's one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
But I like this game better with the expansion. I think you like it better without.
No, I
Coming
don't.
around on it,
I don't like the number of players. The more players that get added. That what is it? 6th player gets added.
Oh, well, that's like 99% of games.
Way too long. But all of the different things that you can do in the expansion, top notch.
Whenever an expansion adds an extra player, it's almost always a bad idea. It isn't always,
Yeah.
but it almost is.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just like this game. I like the Western theme to it. It plays fast and fun. And we use the Doc Bad Luck thing as whenever something happens in the game where you get something because you got nothing else, I always call it Doc Bad Luck because of this game.
In any game.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, my number 84 has been on the list for 2 years. It came on last year, although it came on at 54, dropped some. But Maybe the expansion that's coming out of Essen will make this higher for me, and that's the Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Wow, really?
Now, I went into this game
Mispronouncing the name.
Ludwig, sorry.
Thank you.
I went to this game predisposed to liking it, right? It was like, build your own castle.
Okay.
Wow, what a great theme.
Right.
And I did like that. The building your castle thing works, but I was surprised at how much I liked the mechanism of rearranging stuff to sell them, and you pick the prices for things, and then people buy them. And that's the thing that you actually like the theme too, but you didn't like that one mechanism.
I like the theme okay. I'm not a big fan of city building. The castle building with the different shaped rooms has a great visual appeal. It's not a bunch of squares. But yeah, rearranging the price thing sounds great in theory. If someone told me that mechanism, I'd go, ooh, but it didn't work for me.
You said that stressed you out.
It did, and it gave me analysis paralysis, which I almost never get in any game.
That's true. I don't know what it is, but I think maybe, I don't know, maybe there's people like Z in that regard, but for me, I enjoyed it. I was like, ooh, I'm going to sell it to you for cheap. Buy it, buy it. You know, I thought that was a cool mechanism. And then there's the added thing of building the castle, and I look forward to now having a kind of a shape that you have to keep your castle in now with the expansion. Yeah. So that's coming, I think, at Essen. So
Secrets.
The Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Number 83 debuted on my list 4 years ago at 100. Then went down to 38, 45, now back to 83.
38?
Yeah.
And now it's like, yeah, there was a couple of very good play sessions that one year there, you know?
Anyway, the game is a card game, Seasons. I'm a big fan of Seasons. I like the expansions, although I don't think either of the two expansions is necessary to play the game. They're fine. They add more stuff. I think Seasons is best when you draft. You got to play with the full rules where you draft all your cards at the beginning and then play it. But there's just something about the card play. I think I like it best at 2 players. Although 3 and 4 is not so bad. The game can really drag if you have one person who will sit there and go, Okay, but I found that I just avoid playing this game with those type of people. And it almost has a CCG quality to it with the playing of the cards without having the collectability. It's like a contained set. And I love the artwork. I love that universe, the Zidit universe, I think it is.
Yeah.
And so they came out Lords of Zidit, or was that?
That was after.
Right, I'm not saying it was in the same universe. That one's not on my list, but Seasons is. I think this was in your top 100, maybe?
It might have been. I can't remember. That was a while ago.
Well, anyway, my number 83, Seasons. My number 82 has been on my list since it's come out, and it bounces all over the place, but I just like it. I like the new version that just recently came out, I think, last year, and that's Lost Valley. The one where you go and you get gold, and I liked it a lot originally because it was like, ooh, action, 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 and you just did a couple things, and then it was the next person's turn, and it had this theme, go and get gold. But they balanced it even more in the newest edition by changing the gold so that getting the mountain gold was really good and the river gold was not nearly as good. So you couldn't do that rush to get river gold and then run out.
Yeah. So I think this is one of those games that time hasn't necessarily been kind to it. I think it was more interesting when it came out because not a lot of games were doing that sandbox style of game. But it's a much more popular genre now. People like that. Do whatever you want sort of style. And this one just, I don't know, it didn't wow me, I guess.
Well, the new version that came out did not look new at all.
Right. It looked about the same,
like
right?
The same. It was just a straight up.
I mean, I heard it was more balanced, which is great, but the game didn't grab me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's visually forgetful,
But there are parts of it that are visually cool, like the rhombuses. That's
forgettable. Yes.
The rhombuses look neat, and there's that whole aspect. Yeah, they probably
the tiles are cool, but
rhombi.
Rhombi? Yeah, I think it is rhombi. Well, see, the more you know. Anyhow, Lost Valley. My number 81 has also been on the list for, I think, 10 years, and it's 64, 64, 61, 55, 92, 81. And this is a game that all 3 of us talk about all the time, so I won't belabor it, and that's Pillars of the Earth.
Cool.
Pillars of the Earth is still one of those classic resource gathering games, and then spending is and this one will likely not come back in print unless they change the theming of it.
Is that what you think the issue is? Is that what's holding it up?
I don't know what the issue is. I mean, Mayfair, but I would imagine that they certainly have to have a license with the guy who's written the book and such.
Yes.
So they could probably redesign the game just without that theme, and it would still work with some other building something.
Sure.
Hey, we're building a mall. Pillars of the mall.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, really.
No, that probably wouldn't work in that regard. But I did enjoy it. It's a worker placement game, which is something I like, but had a neat thing where the workers were pulled randomly. And you're like, oh, you're so lucky you got yours pulled first.
Yeah,
Not lucky.
You got to pay more.
You got to pay money to put them out first. And that was a good balancing mechanism.
Yes.
So that's the final one for this time, folks. Pillars of the Earth.
Much better top 10 there. I mean, 10 than the first 10 we heard.
That was not
the 100 through 91. I mean, just the fact that Space, which one is a Galaxy Trucker, was on there, already made that whole top, that whole 100 through 91 a sad affair. This is nice. It's getting better. I commend you.
Not bad.
They better keep getting better.
Hang on to those thoughts, guys. Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Tom Vasel.
See ya.
Sam Healy.
Tom Vasel's top 100 games of all time. Some say that Tom is like a giant among men. Others say he's a little obsessed.
I don't even have a top 10.
Tom Vasel's top 100 games of all time.